Hello everyone, Larry Satchwell here. Sun coming up over the garden. This is one of the best gardens we've had in years. Right here's the potato patch. They've bloomed, so I think there's some potatoes in there. So we'll try to dig out a couple, have them for dinner tonight. If you've never had fresh dug potatoes, you're missing a treat. There's one, a nice red. Well, that'll be enough for dinner. Now that my hands are all dirty. Well, I gotta tell you, I'm a little disappointed in the strawberries this year. We're still weeding them, and we'll get, these are ever-bearing. Got some pine straw here that we'll be putting on them. Now, this patch may look like a big mess, but it's really not. It's under control. I've left these radishes, and I'm letting the lettuce go to seed here. Tim and Alfred, I don't know if you are thought of yourself as an influencer, but you have certainly influenced me. You posted a video not long ago that said save the pollinators, and since then I've been reading up and studying on them, and I found out that so far I messed up in renewing that bug box that my grandchildren gave me. Although it is completely full, the bamboo that's filled up is most likely mason bees. And the ones that aren't filled up are from leafcutter bees, and those leafcutters are usually later in the summer. The mason bees have come and gone, and according to what I've read so far, bamboo's not good. You should split these open and get out the cocoons or put them in a bee bag. I'm still working on it, but probably shouldn't have done what I did. Once I think I've gathered enough information to do it right, I'll put a video out on pollinators. This is the spring crop of lettuce, and as you can see, most of it has gone to seed. However, we're still eating this variety right here, red ruffles. The onions are looking good. They're starting to bulb out, and that's exactly what they should be doing. Now, we had a wilted lettuce salad last night, and right now it's getting hard to have the onions that are small enough. But I've got some onions in the refrigerator, onion sets in the refrigerator that I'm going to be planting. I've also got some lettuce up in the basement that's sprouting. Right now, the soil temperature is too hot for lettuce to germinate. So I'm germinating it in the basement. It's tennis ball and all year lettuce from pine tree seeds, and I'll be planting that. This is this year's carrots crop though, and we had a couple of those in the salad last night. This is a celebrity tomato, and these onions are going to seeds. These are onions I planted last October, and they still make great scallions, but I'm letting them go to seed because I like the way they look. This is a tomato charger as this one, and that's a variety from Seeds and Such, and they're doing quite well. Got another one over here I'll show you in a minute that's not so good. This variety right here to the left, I can see one ripening. That's Early Doll, and Early Doll from Seeds and Such didn't do much, just kind of sat there. So I've also planted Park's Whopper in here just last week, so it's really doing well. This tomato is Celebrity, and there's one almost right down there. Yeah, we'll be eating that one in a couple of days. Quick scan of the perennial garden. Beautiful this time of year. We'll go up there in a minute. Ethan's butterfly garden. He got 100% on it. No comments from the teacher. This bronze fennel is doing great. It'll keep going. I recently added this bee balm, and it has taken off. It'll be blooming here in the next couple of days. And I found this red hot poker. I had these years and years ago at a different house. I really like the way they look, but they're pretty expensive. And I found these for $1 a piece. Creeping Jenny's coming out, and the zinnias are looking great. As far as this goes, I have given up on the butterflies I had a bowl that I bought at the thrift store and headed out here. The banana's rotted, nothing. I have literally over 800 images of this on my trail cam. Not one butterfly landed on it. So I've converted it to a bird bath yesterday, and we'll see what happens there. In this garden bed, we've got this other Charger tomato, but you can see this bed must have a lot of extra nitrogen because we've got all of this growth, and I don't see any blooms. Not one bloom on this entire plant. So, oh, there's one. So there is one bloom here, but this thing should be covered up with blooms. In the meantime, my banana pepper here, that needs to be picked, put in a salad. We have more yellow squash than you can shake a stick at, but I've made one recipe the other day, and I have some air-fried zucchini recipes I want to try. This is another Charger in that same bed. As you can see, the same problem. Lots of growth, no blooms. My okra's looking great. It's going to come up, and my cucumbers are looking fabulous. There's a big one I missed yesterday. We had one in the salad. You can actually train these to climb up here. This is exactly what I did here yesterday. Pardon my dirty fingers. As these little arms come out, you can actually wrap them around the cage here and it'll grow upwards. Another Charger in that same bed, but at this end must not have as much nitrogen because it's got several blooms on it. I've twice planted midnight ruffles here and a red velvet lettuce along these rows, and nothing came up because the soil was too warm. So I'll be transplanting those seeds I have in the basement, and then it'll come up. This is the tomato cage I enlarged, and it's a good thing I did. I've never planted this tomato called Sunglow, and as you can see, it definitely needed the extra height. It's supposed to be a determinate tomato. That means it's going to grow at a certain height and stop, and usually all the tomatoes ripen at the same time, but I'm not sure. Maybe I've got it wrong. I'll go back to the Seeds and Such catalog and see if I've got this correct, that it is a determinate. Indeterminate, that would be the Charger here, and that's going to keep growing. Those will grow to the top of those cages by the end of the summer. Have another green pepper right here, but it has yet to bloom. It's a little more shade. Moving on to this bed. Here again, I had a early doll tomato in here, and it died. So I did replace it with a Parks Whopper. Improved hybrid, and it's doing well. And that Volunteer is obviously a potato plant now. Another one coming up right here. Two more peppers that are in a lot of shade right now. They'll be in the sun in a couple of hours. My corn's looking great. I usually was reactive. This corn always gets blown over because my soil is so loose. But I was proactive this year, and I've already strung it up here so it'll stay straight. Now I see here that I've got a couple little suckers coming off of this one. These are not going to produce anything, and they're just going to take away. So I'm just going to break these off. But I've also got some new corn in here, and I'll show you that. It's down at the other end. I had about a dozen seeds left over, so 2 weeks after I planted this, I interplanted that corn. This is a zucchini. We still haven't, it hasn't bloomed yet, I don't think. Oh, there's a bloom right there. So it's just now blooming, and there's another bud. And this tomato Charger, not looking great. It's got some of that weird virus or something. This is that bed that 2 years ago I had so much trouble in, but it's got a couple of beautiful tomatoes on it right now. This is the straight yellow squash, and again, we've got a lot of yellow squash. We'll freeze this, and it'll make casseroles all winter long. This is another Sunglow, and I should go ahead and contain it. I've had a couple of ripe tomatoes off of this plant. They're really good. Well, that's the extent of the vegetable garden. Let's go look at our fruits. Over here we've got some black raspberries, and I found a black raspberry rustic pie recipe that I'm going to be trying this afternoon. We've been collecting these. We've never had so many, but we've been collecting these, and I think we've got the 3 cups that are required. This variety over here, there's a difference. These are the black raspberries, but there's also a purple raspberry in here called Glingo, and it is a spineless. Here's one. It has no stickers on it. This is yet to bloom. I'm looking forward to those. I've had a couple of them. I don't see one that's ripe right now. Oh, here's one. I'm gonna eat that. Again, my dirty fingernails, I'm sorry. I was digging those potatoes. Ah, delicious. Down this flower bed slash, I think will become a raspberry bed, because this is one of the Glencoe plants. I'm not sure how it got over here, but it went all the way around this bathtub where my lotus will be blooming in a couple of weeks, and stretched over here. I just bought one plant last fall, because I wasn't sure how it would do. I'm very impressed with it. Over here I've got my camera trained on the Humminbird Feeder. It gets visited some, but not as much as the Humminbird Feeder up on the other end. And again, the color on this one faded within 2 weeks. My false indigo, Petunia, is doing well. I chopped down these 4 o'clocks because they take over every time. Got some Petunia coming up and some sunflowers coming up. I've got more sunflowers that need to be transplanted. I'm going to plant a lot of them this year in honor of Ukraine. What a mess. This box is looking pretty good. Mexican Petunia is coming up and doing well. I woke up this little guy. I'm pretty sure that this is a Jerusalem artichoke, or a sunchoke, some people call them. Got some more bee balm coming up here. And this is the hibiscus. That'll have gigantic white flowers on it. This pot's a lot deeper than it looks. It's actually about 20 inches deep or so. I like to keep the water hyacinth in here because the fish tend to eat it over in the pond, but when this gets doubled or tripled, I'll throw some into the pond. My clematis is looking beautiful. It needs some more support, but as you can see, this window has kind of fallen apart. I need to replace a couple of them. A couple of weeks ago, I took a big gamble and dug up this emerald blue phlox. The reason it's a gamble is because this time of year, it's really hard to keep them alive, but I've been babying them and watering them, and I think they're gonna make it. This bed just had so many weeds in it, and Bermuda grass, and it's a wild Bermuda, that it's just really impossible to control without chemicals. But I dug it up the best I can. I haven't seen any coming up yet. I've got a moonflower here that's coming on, a moon vine, and this vine is taken off. It's going to have some red flowers. It's supposed to grow 12 to 15 feet high. I hope that's so. It's a volunteer bean plant that's coming up, and I've also got some black-eyed Susan vine coming up. We have a beautiful water lily coming up. Recently put this screen over it. I think I might take it off, but I have a video coming up. This company, you may recall the fiasco I had with that screen last year. Well, this company took pity on me and sent me this. I really like it, and I'll have a video coming up on it. But when I came out here this morning, there were 2 frogs caught on top. So I'm not sure what to do about that. The red honeysuckle is growing well. Let's keep putting it and holding it onto the lattice here. And the black-eyed Susan volunteer coming up over here, and some morning glories. And just the other day, I discovered I do have some cypress vine. I haven't been able to find it this year, Actually, I planted seeds last year, or Billy Ray did for me down in the greenhouse. He is moving, will be gone at the end of the month. All right, let's talk about the Perennial Hill. Got some gladiolas coming up here. See, they have a bloom on them. Everything is looking beautiful over here. I have made some mistakes. I'll be the first to admit. There's a yellow yarrow back there that's not very tall that I need to transplant. So I will mark that. I've got it marked with a basket support right there right now. Finally, the daffodil foliage has died off. And look at these Shasta daisies. Daisies are one of my wife's favorite plants. I'm gonna step up on the wall here so you can get a better view of those. They are just gorgeous. A lot of blooms, no dead ones yet. This is Black-eyed Susan Rebecca, I think it's called. And here's another mistake you can see. Yellow yarrow and some red back there that need to be transplanted in the fall. A little bit different view from the other side. You can see the red back there and the yellow is just too tall. What I'll do is divide these Shasta daisies, make that bed bigger. I still want to get rid of some of this old daylily. My foxgloves are bent over and throwing out seeds, so hopefully we'll get some more of those. Some more yarrow. I really like yarrow. I'm at the point though where I need to give some away. What I'd like to do is make a wave of the different colors I have here, and I think I'll be able to do that next fall. The coreopsis, I've been cutting these, deadheading them, and deadheading them more. But I think I'm at the point now where I'll just take all of the deadheads off with my clippers and let that plant rejuvenate and grow some more flowers. Here is my Nicotina, and I have searched at least 7 or 8 greenhouses looking for Nicotina this year. Could not find it. Tried to grow some. It's really hard. The seeds are just so tiny and you have to plant them right on top. I'm hoping that these will drop some seeds, and it looks like they may already have, because here's a new plant coming up. Oh, there's another new plant back there. So maybe I can keep this going. I'll cover it again next winter like I did. I haven't seen any hummingbird moths yet, but they might be coming. I've got 2 different colors of the yarrow up here, and what I'd like to do is make some more down here of those, the red and the yellow. Now, this is the Shasta daisies that I've had up here for a couple of years, and I see I did miss a couple of spent blooms. The more you cut the spent blooms, the more blooms you'll get. So I need to do that. And at some point, I'll have to cut back the yarrow too. Over here, I've got some balloon flowers, and those are kind of in disarray too. They're too far apart. I need to cluster those next fall. Fall's the best time to move your perennials. Got some more hosta in here and the stellodora. I've got this verbena in here that grows really tall. The bees and the butterflies love it, and I like it too. The birds must like it because I've got plants popping up all over the property, and I know I didn't put those seeds there, and I know butterflies aren't going to carry those seeds, so I think the birds are eating them too. But I am in the middle of the yarrow patch right now, and you can see a lot of blooms yet to come. And so what I need to do, as these blooms that are doing now start fading, is get in here and cut them back. Lantana coming up. And this is a different view of the coreopsis and another verbena that just popped up here. A little different variety of coreopsis here. Some speedweed that's starting to bloom. I gave up on Miss Huff too soon. I didn't think it was going to come back, so I planted this variety called Dragon right next to it, but this is a Miss Huff lantana. It'll be yellow and come back nicely. I have some more of the yarrow up here, yellow. I think there's some red in there somewhere. I have been watching this. It didn't look like any of the weeds I knew, but it didn't look like any of the flowers I knew. And I started spraying this to kill it the other day because I've got all of this sedge in here, so I was using sedge killer. And then I realized that that's the annuals that were in this spot last year, and they are really coming up. This is cardinal flowers. It looks like I've got to have a bloom here soon. 3 or 4 of those in there. The catnip over here. This is a dwarf Joe Pye weed, and it looks like the Shasta Daisies are starting to get in there, so I'm gonna cut those back. Not that I don't have enough of those, because I want this Joe Pye weed to thrive. Well, I think I'll leave you right here with the catnip and a bumblebee. I hope your garden's doing well. It's supposed to be in the 90s here this afternoon, but we may have a stray shower. One more thing. This is where I've planted some cucumbers. This is a bush variety that's going to come up. I'll replace the squash with those and some more sunflowers that are coming up. Well, now I really am going to leave you. This is the garden, June 1st, 2022.